resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Well, hello, my next level friend. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Artist Next Level podcast. This is a special edition episode in which I am interviewing artists from around the world as they are stuck at home during the coronavirus lockdown. Super excited because we are connecting here with my friend Stacy Gibboni, joining us all the way from Venice in Italy. So it's going to be a great conversation. Don't go anywhere. Well, hi, Stacy. How are you today?
Buongiorno, Sergio. How are you?
I am doing fabulous. Super excited to chat with you because you are in Venice today. And we're going to talk a little bit about, what's happening over there in your part of town. Also, how this has affected your art career and the local community of, of artists in Venice. So very happy to have this opportunity to chat with you. We've been kind of chatting a little bit through social media. And now we have an opportunity to actually connect face to face. So wonderful.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be with you today. Gives me purpose. It gave me purpose for the day.
Excellent. Well, me too. Because now I scheduled this conversation with you, and we were talking about it is breakfast for me. It is happy hour for you, right? So celebrating in different ways.
Exactly.
So, Stacy, tell me a little bit about Venice. What's happening there right now?
Well, we're just past our 40th day of quarantine.
Wow.
I'm sure by now the world is aware that the term quarantine actually originated here in Venice around the 1600s, if I'm not mistaken. It's an island. The idea of isolation when the merchants and sailors were coming from abroad would have to be quarantined on their ships or on separate islands, depending on if they were already showing signs of illness for a period of 40 days. And who ever thought that I would turn 50 years old during a Venetian quarantine?
Wow. Happy birthday.
Yes, thank you very much. Never thought I would see this type of experience. I've noticed this month, you and I have been saying some of the same things, Sergio.
Okay.
One being, for many artists, we're used to the solitude. Yeah. Many of us have a sort of a 20th century mentality. I think that you and I share that about working in our studio space in our own way. Mm-hmm. So the idea of being isolated from the outside world actually is not that different from the way I handle my art practice anyway. Totally. However, the inability to take a walk after 40 days is very difficult. And in Venice, I've noticed, and I have a daughter and her husband that live down in New Orleans. And so we keep real close comparison to the different types of restrictions over this past month or so. And I have to say, our restrictions have been very severe in Italy compared to those in the United States. Yes. I've been very concerned about that and upset many times, especially in the beginning, talking to family and insisting how important it was to stay at home. I admire the Italian government, and that's something I usually wouldn't say about any government, but I really do admire how proactive they have been. And I think that they really have set a good example for the rest of the world. Unfortunately, not everyone has followed. And something else you've been saying is there's not going to be, I'm paraphrasing you, but I think we're on the same page here, Sergio. There's not going to be a going back to a normal.
Right.
We have to, I believe, that we have to accept that this is the future. We have stepped into the future.
Right.
And we need to adjust our expectations.
Yeah.
On what it's going to mean.
And it's a future that was announced by many, experts in the field who said this could come, it's not a matter of if, but when, are we going to be ready? And unfortunately, the governments did not get ready, but that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to step
no, but it's wonderful.
But I have to say, But
yeah.
I think, because you're specifically asking about Italy and Venice in particular, you know, have you been to Venice before?
I've been to Italy many times, but I never gotten all the way to Venice.
Well, you have a friend here, so you'll be coming sometime in the near
absolutely.
future. Okay?
Absolutely.
Something to know about the history of Venice is that the Venetian Republic, La Serenissima, we refer to the island as a female. She was always her own ruler. She is the last region to sign on the dotted line of unification of the country in the 1860s. So we've always sort of moved to their own drum, the beat of their own drum. What's that expression I'm reaching for? I've noticed that our governor here, he's a very strong leader, and he's been very confident. And some of the restrictions that we've had in the Veneto have been even more severe than the restrictions in other parts of
So what kind of restrictions do you guys have? Like, for example, give me an example.
Up until just this week, we were not allowed further than 200 meters from our residence.
Really?
And we are only allowed to go out for food or pharmacy once a week was the suggested amount of time. And you must wear a mask and gloves. Now, we have in the whole country, I'm sure you've heard already, we've had difficulty having enough masks for our medical professionals and things like this. I'm of the club. I made my own mask. I'm working on my third one now, you know, because trying to space my use of my painting supplies, because I can't get it. I can't get an order for non-essential materials until May. So if I paint my way through this the entire time, I'm going to run out of supplies. So I figured learning how to make a comfortable mask is something I'm going to need for the future.
Right.
So in Venice, I think that it's just been raised a little bit. We're allowed to go back jogging now, if that's something we usually did. We are allowed to stretch our legs a little further than the 200 meters, but if there's any sign that we're exaggerating it, then they will pull back in.
Wow.
They did open bookshops and clothing stores for children.
Oh, wow.
Just this week.
Okay. So slowly, and it's going to take time. You know, that's kind of like what all the experts saying, you know, it's going to take long time and to phase back into some sort of normality. So let's talk a little bit about your artwork, which you're in front of a beautiful painting of yours, which I've been following you on Instagram.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that.
So tell me how this...
I'm relatively new to Instagram. You
know,
I'm showing my age again. I'm trying to learn from you and see how to grow those followers organically. So I'm trying that. But the painting that I chose to sit in front of for you is related to my previous crisis of this period of time, which was the high waters, the Acqua Alta of November 2019.
Right. Yeah. So Venice has been in the news for quite a bit because of that, and then high waters
over tourism and cruise ships, and So that was a very dramatic week. 7 days actually. I had started the painting. You know that great feeling when you tack up a new piece of canvas or stretch something new, and you're like, now what can I do? And I started working, and then we get messages as residents to warn us of the tides. And of course, I knew it was a full moon because the moon is my muse, and I always follow what's going on with her. So I said to myself, I thought, oh, the beaver moon, she's going to give us a little trouble this week. But in fact, the winds were so high, it was giving me flashbacks to living on Tybee Island in Georgia during hurricane season or something. You know, it was an intense weather, perfect storm, what have you, with the full moon and the big winds and the storm. So my home was flooded pretty badly. I have a ground floor space where I do wood shop work, build the crates and some larger paintings. I did lose one big painting. Electricity, I was without electricity up until March. Right before the quarantine came down, I finally was able to have my electricity restored downstairs.
Wow.
So that's a very common story. Unfortunately, business owners and families, they've lost a lot. And with the cancellation of Carnevale, the last few days, economically speaking, this is really, there's no going backwards, and so many businesses will not survive.
And it is, pretty much everywhere where there's tourism coming from anywhere in the world right now is suffering. And that is sad, very sad. So tell me how, as just an artist, how are you adapting right now? How are you able to continue working? And now after 40 days, which I'm sure every day looks the same, so strict restrictions. So tell me a little bit about, how are you dealing with it as an artist?
I'm really in need of a good long walk. For sure. I have been trying to practice meditation more actively, and I'm very fortunate and thankful that I have a very, very tiny terrace where I have all my gardening projects, which inspire and inform my painting practice, and always have. I've shifted things around to make more space for myself out there. And I feel terrible for people that don't have that space. Just to open your arms wide and feel the air is different, even, when you have a window. So I know that I'm very fortunate to have that scenario. But I guess the thing that's changed, I know that we talked about this in our correspondence briefly. I had started writing these red zone essays as a way to sort of structure my day and give me purpose. That was different from my normal lifestyle. And I woke up on the 29th day and I thought, no, I'm going to stop now, because this is, like I was saying to you earlier, we both are of the same thought. There's not going to be a going back to normal. So it didn't feel right. A whole moon cycle had passed during my writing, and I was enjoying the interaction and the communication with new and old friends and acquaintances. But it also emotionally was taking a lot out of me.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I can totally imagine. And I think, in a way that, the red zone, what you call essays, right? That you did that period of time, I think is also probably, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe also serve as a way for you to kind of get grounded and accept this reality and say, okay, well, now it's time to move on forward, and we'll take it one day at a time, and we'll keep adjusting, right? I think we will go back to some sort of a new normal, which, in which at least we can see each other out and, space out slowly, getting out more often and things like that, particularly, as the world changes. But I think everybody had a way to process this time. And I think for you, that was probably what helped you.
Too. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's good. It was good. I'm glad I did it. It was a good challenge for myself.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good challenge. Now I've got some other challenges. I know you've also talked about this, and I'm sure most of the people that are going to listen to our conversation are all artists and understand this. That this year was going to be a big preparation year of proposing for exhibition possibilities for 2021. And last year I had 2 shows, and this year I didn't have anything scheduled. And so I'm concentrating, during this uninterrupted silence. Yeah. That's what Venice is, silent. That's the eerie part of it.
Yeah.
The island belongs to the birds. We've got some hungry seagulls flying overhead, and wow. That's only broken by the sound of ambulances. Yeah. And that's disconcerting. But to stay on the positive side of things, I'm trying to improve my technological skills. So thank you for my first Zoom experience there, Joe.
You did great.
And I'm going to try to concentrate more, like as I was writing every morning for the Red Zone essays, I'm trying to concentrate each morning now on my social media presence.
Yeah.
And that's challenging for me. And I know the younger artists don't get that, but some of us, you know, we're painting during the cultural wars of the 1980s, and now we're you know, embracing the beauty of Instagram. It's exciting what can happen there.
And I want to say something, because this is very important, like, kind of connecting to what you just said. You know, the importance of using the platform as a way of connecting, because that's how you and I connected. You reached out to me through the messenger system, and I was happy to, you know, then connect with you, right? This is a time in which everybody's in the same boat. We're kind of levels the playing field. So, you know, you can reach out to people that maybe you have been following, you have wanted to connect with for a while, and just send out a message, right? And see if they answer. They might not, but at least, you know that everybody's kind of in the same boat as you. So nobody's traveling. And so that gives us kind of an opportunity. So I think you did exactly the right thing. And I think it's a good example for other friends. You know, this is a great time. I've been connecting also, you know, with people I wanted to connect a while back, and it's great. You know, it gives us an opportunity to do so. So Stacy, you've been so awesome, and we have run out of time already, unfortunately. Happy hour has ended.
Pick it up next when you finally get over here to visit the city. You can come and we can continue the conversation.
We can have
some Prosecco.
Exactly, that would be awesome. So Stacy, tell our friends how they can find you on social media and also on your website.
On Instagram at my name, at Stacy Gibboni. My website is stacygibboni.com. I'm represented by Saatchi Art out there in LA, so you can see the portfolio there.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, Stacy, you've been so good. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Big hugs to you and to all the art community there in Venice as well. And
thank you, Sergio. Thank you for having me. It's been great to have an actual conversation.
Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you to all our friends who are watching this. Please share this episode with your friends. Let us know, you know, how you like this conversation. Please connect to Stacy or I. We would love to hear from you. Have a great day. See you later. Goodbye.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.